Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been quite a while. It's been, I think, a couple months since I made a video, but we hit 200 subscribers, which is really awesome. That 200 people are interested in, my work, what I do, the content that I make. So I thought I'd do something special. Today I'm going to kind of give a walkthrough of the basics on how to forge weld. It's a skill that can be exaggerated in how difficult it is, but it's also something that takes a while to sort of get used to and be good at. So I guess I'll just get into it. Anyway, I will go ahead and get the fire lit, get everything going, and then that should be that. All right, so to start off, when forge welding something, well, first of all, I'm using 2 pieces of 1/2-inch round stock. It really doesn't matter what you use, and a lot of this is going to be pretty imprecise. I'm sure there's like a spreadsheet somewhere for this stuff, but really, it's better just to, kind of get a feel for it yourself. But whenever you forge weld something, the areas that you're overlapping to forge weld should always be thicker than the rest of the material. So I'm going to upset this bar, and I'll do the same on the other one. All that entails is getting a real short heat on one end, whacking the other end, sort of squishing that material down, making it thicker. Though I need better tongs for this particular process because those were not going to work. These will be better. And it's cold. Okay. During upsetting, you'll have to be straightening your piece quite a bit. That's just kind of how it goes. You got to just keep an eye on that. I'll do one more heat to show you, and then I will go ahead and finish those up, and I'll be back to you then. So once again, all I'm doing, getting a pretty short heat, whacking the other end. Squish that material, make it thicker. And there's no real exact thickness you're going for. In my experience with forge welding, I like to get it thicker back this way because the reason you upset it like this is you actually have to do quite a bit of kind of drawing it down to make it flush. And if it's the same length as the regular bar, you'll end up with a thin spot where your weld is, which you don't want. A, because it's not as structurally sound, but also it just doesn't look as good. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with it. But yeah, I will put you all into the time lapse now, and I will see you when I have those pieces upset to the right dimension. All right, so I've got the 2 pieces upset to where I want. The next step is shaping the two faces that will be welded together. This side, this part of the process is kind of up to you as far as what you want to do. My teacher taught me a specific way. I've found that just sort of making a bevel, like so, is actually mostly sufficient for most scenarios. You know, a curbing, very short taper like this. Is usually plenty to cement the weld. The shape of it is sort of important, like I said, but the most important part of forge welding is the temperature that the two pieces get to. I'll elaborate more on that once I get this other half shaped that way. It's the hardest part of forge welding. And a lot of people will tell you you have to use flux and you have to get it this exact temperature. You can use flux. Flux is useful. However, it's not necessary if you get the steel hot enough. Just like on the verge of burning. Like, it's probably a 20-degree difference between the temperature that I'm reaching when I forge weld and actually burning the steel. In fact, the surface is burning usually. But that's okay because you just smooth it out. You can't even tell. And it's actually a stronger weld that way than using flux. But it is significantly harder to do and takes a lot longer to kind of get a feel for where that temperature is. And I actually probably won't be able to show you through this camera. It probably won't depict the colors in a sufficient amount of depth to actually see what I'm talking about. But the surface should be visibly wet. It should look, I mean, essentially what you're trying to accomplish is melting the outer surface while keeping the inner metal solid. You're cooking it until it's at that exact temperature, but the outside should be a wettish texture. And then if you smack the two pieces together, they should stick together a little bit. They should be a little tacky. That's actually how you set the weld, because unless you did it that way, you'd actually need 3 people, one person holding one piece, one person holding the other piece, and the third person swinging the hammer. Or maybe you could have one person holding the 2 pieces and then one person hammering. But this way you can do it alone. It's a little hectic in the moment, but it works. I probably won't be doing a lot of talking because I'll be concentrating. So I'll elaborate on what I did a little further once I've set the first weld. Okay, so this next heat is going to be the welding heat, the tack weld, if you will. Basically, it's just to set the weld. It's not finishing the weld. That usually takes 2 or 3 heats for me. But I warm both of the pieces up now. I get them ready, and then I'm going to weld them. I will not be speaking until I've got the tack weld done, because of how much I need to be concentrating and managing this. Okay, so it might be difficult to see, but you can kind of tell by the shape that the bevels are sort of creating an oval shape. Instead of coming together on the short faces, I actually flattened out the bottom and brought them long ways so that I can then, draw that out and make it look pretty. But the larger the weld area, the harder the weld is, but the more sound it will be. I'm going to heat this back up because this is a very fragile weld. I've only very, very lightly tapped it into place. And so basically, all these next few heats are going to be cleanup heats at the same temperature. just solidifying the weld, making it look nice. One of the issues with my current forge is its size. It's pretty small. So this is not at welding heat. It's pretty risky, but I need to bend this piece so that I can actually put my piece in the fire. Fortunately, it's a necessary step, but my forge pot is a little too small. My blower is a little too small as well. So it's hard to get these, into the hot spot of the fire, which should be level to the table, but the forge is a little bit low. Here I'm hitting slightly harder than I was earlier, just to sort of shore up the weld. But it's already not at the proper temperature, so I gotta heat it up again. Gotta bend this out of the way a bit more. Now I should be able to get that up to temperature much easier. And this opening up process is really what takes the longest. You have to monitor the temperature a lot, make sure it's very precise, because it's still pretty easy to actually burn this piece. And that happens even to my teasers happen a few times when he's been demonstrating. Just got to be very, very careful. Watch your steel, watch the fire, all of those good things. And it certainly helps if your forge blower has an adjustable blowing setting. Very much a high-level skill to do that. As you can see there, I got that a little too hot. So this shaft is now burned. That's okay, I'll continue with this. Section is, learning your hammer angles and getting your hammer right on the edge and doing, real small steps like that, really putting up the edges so that it doesn't look like it's overlapping pieces. And to be honest, it takes quite a while. Okay, so I have the piece, I have the weld. Obviously, I burnt the heck out of it there. That's actually not where the weld is. The weld itself is right here. Right about here. You can't actually see it, which is exactly what I was going for, getting it that hot. I just got it a little bit too hot. So obviously I didn't upset enough in this area. and I burnt it too much. On the other side, I sort of left it a little bit less finished. Obviously this is a burn, but you can see right there, perhaps, underneath that burn, there's just a very, very slight line right there. And that is actually where the weld is. That's not what you want. You want to get that just a little bit hotter and just very lightly tap it in with the edge of your hammer. But that's the basics of how to forge weld. It's a skill that can be used in all sorts of ways to do all kinds of very nice looking things that you just can't do with machines. You simply cannot make some of these things with a mill. It just doesn't work. Things that can only be made by hand. Really the uniqueness of blacksmithing is in the forge welding. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment and subscribe. And I appreciate all of you who have subscribed. It's pretty cool, and I enjoy doing this. Regarding upload schedule, this semester is already a lot harder than my last semester. So I'm not exactly sure how often I'll be uploading, how often I'll be streaming. I was going to try and do that every 2 weeks, but I'm just not sure now. So I'm going to try and get a video out at least every month. That I can hold myself to, but beyond that, I'm really not sure. But thank you all for watching once again. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.